them know that we are the American Indians. Baby. Copper color Indians, baby. A real Indian, American Indian is me, not from Africa. Remember that.
African Americans here, but they recently moved here from places like Kenya, Ethiopia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Zaire. But now the brother whose family's lived in this country for generations, occupying space in all the locations, New York, Miami, LA, Detroit, Chicago, even if he's wearing a dashiki and sporting an afro. And if you go to Africa in search of your race, you'll find out quick, you're not an African American. You're just a black American in Africa taking up space. Why you keep trying to attach yourself to a continent where even if you got the chance to go and you went, most people that wouldn't even claim you as one of them.
And we are not Africans. We are not African. Are you an African, baby?
Yeah. Conscious. Matic. Alright, so far away I come from. I sit and wonder about the times that it made sense, but nowadays I don't worry about what's past tense. My younger days I used to hang around with mad friends. If we just fell out, I don't really know what happened. A lot of people come around and keep you stagnant, distraction. So yeah, don't show them no compassion. We was really out here grinding, really rapping, stacking them Franklins, them Grants, and them Jacksons. Imagine if we would've never chased our passion, we probably would've never knew what happened. They was all just talk, we showed action. Once they leave, don't you let them back in. Just pack up all their stuff and send them packing. I'm blacking on anybody thinking they could act up with me. This vibe ain't for free, cause where I'm at in life, I'm only focused on me. Note the self, know yourself, focus on your health. They don't wanna help, then fuck it, do it by yourself. Don't give them no excuse to put you on the shelf. If it's me, myself, and I, then it's no one else. Yeah. Self-love is the best love. It's the people who always give that never get love. They ain't real enough to probably say they messed up. Just let it go and make the best of it. Yeah, self-love is the best love. It's the people who always give that never get love. They ain't real enough to probably say they messed up. Just let it go and make the best of it. Love yourself.
Yeah, practice what you preaching, but clearly they not practicing entitlement and pride. Yeah, those two things they factor in. Spiral out of control just from all the bantering. When they accustomed to talking behind your back with all that chattering, I remove myself before I abuse myself. Talk about self-love, but you gotta do it yourself. Yeah, I won't act too good for no help. We all healing now. Said some things about me that ain't true. How you feeling now? Even at my lowest, they tried to find a way to bring me down. Big y'all up for years, ain't talking just the brand or the sound. I don't throw things around, I do it from the heart proud. Mama just wanna see her sunshine, removing them dark clouds.
Yeah, self-love is the best love. It's the people who always give that never get love. They ain't real enough to probably say they messed up. Just let it go and make the best of it. Yeah, self-love is the best love. It's the people who always give that never get love. They ain't real enough to probably say they messed up. Just let it go and make the best of it. Love yourself. ISO Dama. Woo! Hey, it's too many lies, too many lies. Hey, it's too many lies, too many lies. Yo, it's too many. Hey, it's too many. Yo, it's too many. Yo, it's too many lies. Look in my eyes, they know I'm the truth. Knocking them down every time I step in the booth. We ain't gotta lie, they know we the vibe, we living in proof. It's young, conscious, shoot my life a movie, I live in a spoof. Ain't no sticking around, I'm on the move, I'm checking the dudes. Yeah, it's only us two, so you know we copping that coupe. We on the roof, smoking dope, look at the view.
still lying. Right through their teeth, and they still hiding behind many truths. They was D9. Watch my every move, tell them keep trying. Leave that shit on scene, I ain't replying. Less I know you, that don't mean I'm Hollywood. That just mean I'm Hollywood. All y'all, I probably stood on the falls, all cause. More times I probably should. I don't know nobody like us. You see how much time it took.
Yeah, hey, it's too many lies, too many lies, too many lies, hey, it's too many lies, too many lies, too many, it's too many, hey, it's too many, yo, it's too many, hey, it's too many lies, hey.
Press the like. Hey, y'all. Oh, man. Hey, y'all. Hey. Y'all, please smash the like button. I see 80 people already smashed it. Please smash the like button. Honor and love to everybody. Oh, man. Adrian Shajid, Natural L Roots, Copper Aborigines. Hey, now. What's up? D. Allen Warren, George Richard, E. Knotts. Hey, now. Voodoo Child, Lady Moon, the beautiful Lady Moon, the beautiful Miss Sammy. Hey, y'all, and everybody watching today's segment. Brown liquor, no ice. Okay. All right, y'all. So, first things first, today's subject is I'm just not going to let it go. And I'm going to explain why. Hey, Damisha. Oh, what's up, lady? All right. Hey, Straight Smoke. Smash that like button, y'all, please. I love y'all so much. And everybody in Twitter watching today, all you politicians out there, I'm not going to be mean. I just want to express to y'all why I'm standing on what I'm standing on. And a lot of us Aboriginals are standing on what we're standing on in a professional and civil manner. First things first, y'all. I was over at BAP's channel today, and yes, it's official, very official, that this demonstration is going down in Washington D.C. And I'm real. My heart is just like so overwhelmed with joy because this time, um, it's the community. Add Power is overseeing it. Myself, doing the coordination behind his back because he agreed. And we already picked the date. And guess what? Y'all know I take action. Like when I say I'm gonna take action, I done already submitted the permit. So I can't change the date. It's July 4th. I already submitted the permit for us to be there in front of the White House. I don't play around. And that's 6 months away. And we straight. We are straight. We will be in DC. I don't play around. Only thing me and Big Willie got to do, because Sister Bethy ain't driving. I don't like bridges. I'm scared of bridges and mountains. So, but Big Willie, he's the driver. As long as we go there, rent my our room, we stay in the night because I ain't letting my baby drive 5 hours there and 5 hours, 6 hours there and back. He got the rest. So it is on a Thursday, which really makes it great because Thursday is a holiday, and I'll take Friday off as a holiday so that my baby could rest and we'll be back home. It's only a 5 hour drive, but to him that ain't nothing. But it's already set. I already talked to Bap and said we already permit straight. So he was happy. So BAP will give more information. I'll keep promoting it here. We really need to get out there and take a stand. And it's important. Yes, and BAP is right. We're supposed to talk about it on YouTube. We are. I would never take that away. But I just feel that we need to make a public presence so that they can understand why we are standing on our identity and do not want the United States classifying us and how we came to be classified as the people that they believe us to be today. But unfortunately, what they classified us as has a whole new meaning, a whole different meaning in the English language. Okay. And I'm going to get into that, a little bit of that today. Definitely. Bap, if you're out there, please feel free to come on the panel anytime of the segment. I'll be here for a while, but yes, the event is definitely going down. Mark your calendars. My suggestion is, listen, you can save money, reserve your room for one day. Treat yourself to come out. Treat yourself to a 1 to 2 day vacation. You deserve it. We are going to march from our hotel, which is about a mile and a half, to the location, which is Pennsylvania Avenue on the side of the White House there, which is only way we can really go. But that's the location. I don't mind marching a mile and a half from our hotel room to the White House because I like to be publicly seen in our attire, honestly, in our Aboriginal attire. And that can just consist of your beautiful headdress. It would be wonderful to show up in that manner. And if you can't make you one, I will give a class online how to make a headdress. And so stay tuned for that date. It's very simple. In Zoom, you can make one yourself. It's so simple. Yeah. So if you want to make a headdress and you want to learn how to make one yourself, it's very simple to make. I will show you in Zoom. And I love making them because I think they're so beautiful. And you pray to the ancestors while you're making it because you really want to bless your headdress from your ancestors. your individual ancestors, your grannies and your grandpas, your big mamas and your big daddies. When you're making it, you want to talk to them while you're making it because it really blesses the headdress. So we'll make it together in Zoom, all beautiful colors that of your favorite choice. My favorite color has always been red and purple and lavender. I'm just a a fool for lavender. I love lavender. I think it's lavender is beautiful. Um, but stay tuned for that. So you could wear it proudly in DC, and your ancestors will bless it while you're making it for yourself, so that you can wear it proudly. And this is, must remind you, this is a peaceful and civil demonstration that's going down in DC. And I pray that we could get others from other platforms to join us. Let us mend our hearts and join. And I'm talking about Chief Holiday, um, uh, Cut, Big Dog Philly OG, those with platforms, Top Cats. I would love to see Brother Top Cats come down there. All these content creators that I'm speaking about are the ones that are actually, I'm counting on to actually give a speech on the podium about our history and why it's so important for us to lock in. Um, Dane, I pray, I do. Everyone who has a platform, A1, you know, all these platforms. I hope, I would love and hope that we could also get Brother Ali Muhammad, who's an excellent spokesperson. A1's an excellent spokesperson. BAP is an excellent spokesperson. Chief Holiday is an excellent spokesperson. All Empress Holbert, you know, all would love to hear our female content creators on speaking. And she could save that beautiful voice to shake up and wake up the ancestors. Would love to have this. So I'm just going to continue to pray to the ancestors that we can get all of them to come. Because when we went the first time, it was about 40 or 50 of us that went. And it was only a small few of us, but we went and we made noise. Thank you, Donna. We made noise, even though it was a small group of us. But I'll tell you this, because I know me and the way I am. Once I plan something, I stick to it. So if in an unfortunate moment that only, and don't forget App TV too. App TV, our DNA man. I hope he mends his heart and shows up too, because I would really like to see, and I know BAP would too, because BAP has a heart of gold and just loves everybody. And I will hope all hearts and men, because these are the folks that we hear them on YouTube. They lecture us and they teach us, and Brother Sanchez too. I'm not leaving your little butt out. Want you there, Brother Sanchez, to give a speech, each one of the persons. And that's really going to make it a great event, that we get to see these individuals live giving a lecture speech to all of us. So that's what I'm praying for. I hope it turns out that way. It's really time. It's really, really time for us to speak out civically and publicly. So publicly, I'm going to give a speech. Definitely. I have to, as I will be Sister Bethy. So, and I just are almost in tears at this point, because as y'all can see, when I woke up this morning, it just freaked me out. Y'all, sister, I've been in here now 5 years, and Twitter has really been holding it down for me. They have. And I just want to say honor to Twitter, all my colleagues in Twitter. I am at officially 10,000 subscribers, y'all. 10,000. Small. That's a small number for, a lot of YouTube content creators, but to me, it's huge. I never imagined that I would make it. I'm almost in tears to 10,000 subscribers. And keep hitting the like button, keep sharing. I can't believe it. And then I have one, I knew I would have a pretty heavy watch today because I of the topic that we're talking about. It's touchy and it's very important. And y'all know, Sister Bethy, I do have slides and we're going to go through them because I really want our politicians that's making these laws to understand why me, why a nation, and many of you, my brothers and sisters, are not in tune with their representation and not to, place their representation on us as a people until they understand and acknowledge our true race. Hey, Chief. Hey, now. I'll put the link in the chat if you want to come up and say something, Chief, before I get into the slides um, that I got. Copy. I'll put this, paste. Oh, thank you. Can't touch this. I appreciate that so much. Hey, Chief, if you feel like it, Chief, I did put the link in the chat if you wanted to come up and say something. I know you're probably busy, but if you wanted to come up and quickly say something about the random decision at BAP agreed to, and I'm so happy. It made me feel so good. I mean, as soon as I, you know, um, did the permit for us to be out there because I I'm expecting this to be huge. So I immediately put the permit in and it's for that specific day. I'm not going to change the date. And you know what? It's the best date because it's Independence Day. We make our own holiday. But I put it in for this date and I'm not going to change it. I'm going to, whether anyone shows up or not. We say things in the beginning, but when the time comes, our hearts are not there. Um, so we'll be having Zoom meetings and BAP and any of the content creators that want to step in these meetings about your speeches. I please welcome you with open arms. I will send these BAP and I will get these Zoom links to you so we could plan it behind the scenes. So I know BAP is going to be talking to A1 and all of them. And I'm certainly going to reach out to Brother Ali Muhammad and Brother Sanchez because we need them. Brother Sanchez, you know, he teaches the science of the flat earth, and I'm pushing him and pressuring him to start his nonprofit for his flat earth. And I want to work with him. And I know he's ready. He's been ready. And he's got so much that he has to offer. So I'm going to be speaking with him behind the scenes. So yeah, and he has a great community that loves him, and I know they'll join him in his works. He deserved his flat Earth family. He helps us all here. Yeah, unfortunately, things do happen, but we hope that we can get as many people as possible to show up. I'm ready for news coverage. I love news coverage because it's important. And it's another way to get these news media outlets to respect us for who we are. Okay. When they're telling stories, if they can't identify and attest to the fact that the people that they're speaking about in our community are Africans, they're not, then they shouldn't speak about it unless they have proof that the people in our communities are Africans. Okay. And I think that's just a disservice to our people. If you're going to give a news, announcement about the people in our community, at least respect us enough not to call us who you think we are. If you're even, whether it's negative or a negative report or a positive report, You should not be identifying every person with brown skin in the urban communities as African Americans, because that's the problem right there. Many of us, millions, let's put billions on it, are not descendants of African slaves. And we have proof with our governmental documents. And I'm going to stand on it, and we're going to keep going through it. So it looks like Chief is probably busy and he's probably not going to come up. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I have some slides that I want to dialogue about, and then I have like 2 articles that I want to read. Hey, Donald, how are you? Bless you. Immortal Eric. Let's see. The Black King, Girly 72. Hey, beautiful. Okay, I think I got, American Isness. Hey, now. So let's get into the slide, y'all. Maybe he'll pop up later. Slide time. Oh, where are you? I hate when I do that when I don't have the slide up. Okay, here we go. Okay. Smash the like button, y'all, please. I appreciate it so much. Okay, we getting there. That's a beautiful thing. So, what I want to talk about today is United States local and federal government sabotization, because that's exactly what it is when it comes to our history as a people. It's definitely sabotization. And I hope you guys can see this. So let's define sabotage. Defined. Sabotage is a deliberate action aimed at weakening a polity. And polity, the synonyms for that is organization, institution, state, a society, a community, or political entity. That's sabotage. Sabotage is a deliberate action aimed at weakening a polity, which is an organization, an institution, a state, a society, a community, a political entity, government effort, or organization through subversion, obstruction, demoralization, destabilization, division, disruption, or destruction. That is what sabotage is. And those are the sabotaging behaviors exercised by the United States local and federal government to our people. This is very true indeed. If you look at any of these synonyms, all of it has been done to our people. We have been. We have been. We suffered demoralization. We suffered division, destabilization, and we suffered destruction of our lands, the loss of our homes, owned by our families. And here's just a few more types. This is infinite when it comes to our people as it pertains to both the United States, local, and at the local level, which is the states, municipalities, and the federal level. And these are more types of sabotations that we can attest to as a people that were enforced on our people. Division, identity, loss of lands, murders, enforcement of false education, poverty, unusual and cruel punishments from the time the war started with them and us up to including this date as it stands for our people, as it pertains to the criminal justice system. Indoctrination based on the doctrine of discovery. So let's get into some of the concrete proofs. And these are just basic samples. There are more, but as you know, we are having actions in federal court, and I don't want to deviate too much outside of it. But here we have federal government versus Indian government versus state government. Here you will find a typewritten copy of census of 1835 of Cherokee Indians taken prior to removal to Indian territory. And this is in the Indian Archives Division of the Oklahoma Historical Society. This is at the federal level and the local. Here is the volume that is in, and it's the report from the superintendent for the 5 civilized tribes combined. It is a combined report of all the civilized tribes in 1835. And the superintendent for the 5 tribes in Muskegee, Oklahoma. And this is 1800s. Now let's show you some of the sabotaging of our racial identity as a people within these boundaries of the United States. Racial misclassification of the Aboriginal/Indians of North America. Here in the federal report by the superintendent, quadroon means 1/4 Indian blood and does not refer to Negro descent. Negro blood is indicated under the head of Negroes or mixed Negroes. And slaves were possibly Negroes, but the families are Indians of the Cherokee tribe. Couldn't leave that out because it is very clear that the Negroes are the Indians, because you could not change the law that they had and maintained in the 5 civilized tribes, that the Negro is the Indian by tribal law and custom. So that's why you have to put the families were the Indians of the Cherokee tribe, and that's a fact. But what they did was because of our skin color. They made us the Negro, and the one with the more white feature, they made the Indian. I keep telling you this. In this here report, it gives no other mentioning of any other type of race of people other than white folks and Negroes. There's no other race indicated. Negroes in Spanish means black. If you're going to speak, that's a Spanish word. However, they use it in the English language. But when you translate it, it means black. It means black. In the Noah Webster dictionary, it explains that a quadroon in Spanish America, the offspring of a mulatto woman by a white man, a person quarter-blooded. That still means the same thing as 1/4. And where do you get your mulatto from? The offspring of a mulatto woman. By a white man. And in the Oxford Dictionary, a person who is 1/4 black by descent. Now, when you look at this, Indian and black is the same thing. One-fourth Indian blood, 1/4 black descent. 1/4 black descent is the same thing as 1/4. A quarter is 1/4. Can you give me a 1 if you see the terribleness in that and the wiping away of who we are? They when it came to the person with the dark skin, they made them the black. When Indian is the same person, because you needed 1/4 of the Indian blood. Just like you need the 1/4 of the black blood. This was the taking of our true identity as a people. There are no Africans mentioned here because there were none. The Indian they speak about is the black. And you became an Indian when you had 1/4 of the black blood. I need a 1 letting me know that you understand this, and I will not go any further. And I'm going to stop the share screen for a minute. I refuse to go any further until you see the hijack of our race identity in their federal and state report. There's way more people in here with the amount of 1s that's coming out. I need to see 1s. I will not. I understand. Thank you. I'm seeing the 1s now. You can't break it down. I'm going to break it down again just for you. But what's the beautiful thing is the majority of the chat understanding it. But I will break it down more for you. Quadroon means 1/4 Indian blood. In the Oxford Language Dictionary, a person with 1/4 black by descent. On the reservation, 1/4 Indian blood. Off the reservation, a person is 1/4 black by descent. 1/4 and 1/4 is the same thing. The black is the Indian. Negro means black in Spanish, but we're speaking English. We are not speaking Spanish. In the Spanish America, the offspring of a mulatto woman by a white man. If the woman is mulatto, one of her parents are black and one is white. If no one can't understand that, then I am very sorry, because this is the most clearest breakdown with 3 different dictionaries. The bullshit in the report. You're either a slave or you're not. Negro blood is indicated under the head of Negroes or mixed Negroes, because Negroes mean black. They did not, if you were 1/4 Indian blood, you had some Negro blood in you. But because you have more of your white features, it's okay. You will not be classified as a Negro. You have more and dominate more of your white features. So you will not be deemed as Negro descent. However, mulattoes are, because they have their Negro features dominate. It is when it's white out. It is when it is white out. When you're white out, it is when the white part of you dominates that you are the Indian. And this is a fact, because we're only speaking about black and white people. It is very clear and is very well known that Europeans are not indigenous to the Americas. That's a fact. We know they came here just based on their identities. French, Dutch, English, those are all Europeans, and they came here. So you can't come here. But there is someone that was here, and that was the Negro Indian. Black Indian is what I just said. Negro Indian means black Indian. The sabotization continues and continued with the identification defined for its citizens at the federal and state levels. The U.S. Census Bureau collects race data in accordance with guidelines provided by the United States Office of Management and Budget, that's OMB, and these data are based on self-identification. At the federal level, race and ethnicity have been categorized separately. The most recent United States Census recognized 5 racial categories: white, black, Native American / Alaska Native, Asian, and Native Hawaiian, other Pacific Islander, as well as people who belong to 2 or more of the racial categories. The contemporary word race itself is modern. Historically, it was used in the sense of nation, ethnic group, during the 16th to 19th centuries. Race acquired its modern meaning in the field of physical anthropology through scientific racism, starting in the 19th century, which is the 1800s. So race, the word race, in its usage is modern, because prior to that, it was nation. It was not what was your race, it was what was your nation. Give me a 1 if you understand that. I will move along when I see ones. Thank you. Racial breakdown in the United States. Black in the Noah Webster Dictionary is defined: black, a Negro, a person whose skin is black. Look at your skin and see if it's black. Black is the bold print that I just did. Look at your skin. Thank you, Rodney. Sweetheart, thank you so much. Wonderful, Copper. You said it's brown. Yep, mine's is too. Reddish brown. Brown. A Negro, a person whose skin is black. In 1828, prior to Indian Removal Act, they said our skin was black. So therefore, we are Negroes. Negro Indians. Black Indians. The United States federal census is 2020. Hispanic or Latino of any race. White alone, non-Hispanic. Black or African American alone, non-Hispanic. Black or African American alone, non-Hispanic. This is where the line, and I'm going to stop here for a minute, to the senators and representatives of the 50 states at the state level and the federal level. We are not black because you defined it within the United States as African, black or African. We are not Africans. That's the problem right there. Black or African. Black is associated with the races in Africa. We are not from Africa. We were here when you came here. We are the people that were here when you came here. Otherwise, the tribes and the tribal governments would not have defined us as the Indians. In order to be defined, in order to be defined as an Indian in the federally recognized tribes, your skin, you are indeed Indians. Negroes. Negroes are frequently met who speak nothing but Indian languages and are Indians by tribal law and custom. We are Indians of the 5 civilized tribes. And we will get into how you have defined us to be something else because we chose not to go to Oklahoma. Okay, I'm just getting it back up, you guys. This is the problem for our people. Black or African American alone. Alone. What is African American alone? That is not clear. There's no need for me to select this ever based on the policies that you have put into effect of this state. In your Constitution, we are the Indians that you speak about, and the only race in the United States Constitution that is spoken about. It's Indian. That is who we are. Therefore, we check American Indian. We are the people with the brown skin that fought and registered in your armed services and were unfortunately forced to say we were Negroes when we registered. More identification for its citizens at the federal and state level. The states exercise the 10th Amendment as well as follow the guidelines of the federal government by racially classifying its citizens with false racial classifications by way of the following: hospitals, doctors, midwives, state agencies, all 50 of them, all applications, forms, and vital statistics in the municipalities, their vital statistics on all their applications and forms, all applications and forms statewide, in the churches, all educational institutions, and historical societies. You have done this to us. You have taken our identity out of the Constitution, which is the Indian, and made us blacks and coloreds and Negroes, rather than the tribes we were before the Indian Removal Act. We were our tribes, who we were. You've done this on voting records, militia records, and politicians and senators continue to identify us as African Americans, and we are not. We did not send them to represent us as African and African Americans. Your news media outlets, they need to be very careful when they say African American, because we are all not Africans or descendants of Africans. And I will tell you why now. The Indian Removal Act, thank you, Kahi. Andrew Jackson, 1814 to 1858. In 1830, just a year after taking office, Jackson pushed a new piece of legislation called the Indian Removal Act. Through both houses of Congress. It gave the president power to negotiate removal treaties with Indian tribes living in the east of the Mississippi. These are our ancestors' lands in the east of the Mississippi. The only people at this time that lived in the east of Mississippi were blacks and whites, people of brown skins, Indians and whites. We were Indians and whites before an establishment was made in Oklahoma. We were Indians and there were whites. That's it. They made the darker Indian the Negro to distinguish between the two. Under these treaties, the Indians were to give up their lands east of the Mississippi in exchange for lands to the west. Those wishing to remain in the East would become citizens in their home state. Those wishing to remain in the East would become citizens of their home state. That's the problem there. We Indians, we remained in our states where we were. We were citizens and made citizens, even if we didn't want to be. And because many of us stayed, you said those Indians that remained would become citizens. We remained. Why are we not now still Indians? That's my question. We remained. You said those Indians that remained would become citizens of their states. We remained. Why are we not now continue to be Indians? Why? We stayed. It was only Indians and whites before the Removal Act. And we remained. We did not go. So because we did not go, why did you take away Indian from our blood, sir? There were only white people prior to the Indian Removal Act. There were only white people and Indians. We stayed in our homes that we occupied for thousands of years. Many of our ancestors owned the homes that we occupied. And because we remained, you took our blood from us, and this is what you did. Why is it that when we remained, we were not allowed to continue to be the Indians that remained and became citizens in the state of their residence? As you state, you took it away from us. At the federal level and state level, this is what you did to our ancestors. That's the problem I have with Black and African American. That is not me, sir. I am the Indian that remained in the state, in the land that my ancestors owned. This affected not only the southeastern nations, because we were nations, but many others further north. The removal was supposed to be voluntary and peaceful. It was not. And it was the way for the tribes that agreed to the conditions. But the southeastern nations resisted, and Jackson's forced them to leave. My family resisted. They were burned out of their homes in South Carolina on land that they occupied for thousands of years. When you burned them out their house in South Carolina, they had no other choice but to flee north for protection. 16 children and mother and father forced from South Carolina in 1929 off our lands. And when we did stay and you decided not to leave, this is what you did to us. You came out with the first census 1870 and you labeled us as black in the English language, which in Spanish means Negro, Negro. That's what you did to our families that stayed and refused to go to Oklahoma. We wish to remain where we were. As the Indians, as you note, the Indians that remained, you made us citizens. And you enumerated us. You burned out our homes, mass murders of our families, and you applied tax laws to us. We didn't do fiat. And that was your way to deceitfully take our lands. The Indians that stayed, that remained, you did this to us, which was other tactics of causing us to lose our home. And then you burnt the records. Do you understand, senators and representatives, what was done to us as a people? You forced us into your society. You forced us to speak like you or act like you, or we would not be accepted. To this date, it is still continued in the workforce. I have proven to you why it's important for the news media to stop calling us African Americans when they're explaining a story that happened in our community. We are the Indians who stayed. There were only Indians and whites on the lands prior to removal. We are the Indians who stayed. And in an effort not to honor Indian not taxed, as written in the Constitution, you enumerated us because you noted us as being blacks so that you could enumerate us. If we were Indians that remained, you would not be able to enumerate us. But the way to enumerate us and take our lands, you listed us and racially classified us as blacks so that you could honor an enumeration on us and impose it on us, and you did. If we were still in our homes, our men wouldn't be suffering today, squished in poverty in the inner cities. You took the integrity of our men and our women. And yet, we are very strong because we still remain. We're still here. And if we are very strong. Anyone able to withstand and go through your actions from generation to the fourth generation, meaning X generation who I am, and we're still withstanding that punishment. We still stand here alive. It means we're strong. You put your gatekeepers in all vital statistics office preventing our people to put who we are as a people, the Indians that remained and helped build these 50 states. You put gatekeepers and vital statistics offices to not allow us to be who we are, the Indians that remained and did not go on the Indian Removal Act. Yet today, you let men change their sex and be women, and women change their sex and be men. But we Indians who remain have been kept from being who we are as a people. You constantly have Black college professors rewrite our history, going back, writing articles about our history and backdating and inserting the word African American, a word that did not exist in the 1600s, the 1700s, 1800s, to fool our people. Smash that like button, y'all. I'm going to take a minute break and then read an article to show that the behaviors of our people and the expectations of mainstream white society of our people still exist in corporate America today. I'll be back. Give me a minute to take a break. Okay, you guys. I hope you understand this segment. I hope senators and representatives across the world can clearly understand where we as a people and why a nation are coming from and people across the 50 states. Understanding who those Indians were that remained and then did not go to Oklahoma. And clearly understanding at that time there were only Indians and white folks here. And there were only Indians that they were removing off this land. And those Indians that remained were us. We never left. And because even though we remained in our lands, that wasn't enough. We remained to be civil. We chose to remain because we thought, our ancestors thought, they had the option of being civil Indians. But that wasn't enough for settlers coming in on the droves. We had to leave our lands. They gave us an ultimatum. Being burned out of our homes in the wee hours of the nights and mornings while we're sleeping with our families, with no time to escape. So there in 1929, the rush, the heavy rush to the north to avoid those persecutions by settlers imposing on our lands. It is very arrogant and it's very ugly to think that everyone with brown skin are people from Africa. When we were here, when they arrived, we Indians, we've always been here. It is very arrogant to make a determination that because our skin is brown, we came from Africa, but yet we are the Indians that remained and never went to Oklahoma. That is offensive. And it's wrong. Many senators and representatives that are here are descendants of some of these people that impose these hardships on us and these identities. And they're very clear that their ancestors came here. And to be here and be foreigners in Congress, to come here and tell us and tell us who we are based on the way we look. You've always had the privilege to say, I'm Irish, I'm Jewish, I'm French, I'm Dutch. But because your skin is white, we didn't just put you all in the category and say you all came from England. That would be rude on our behalf to think that all white people came from England. It is a shame that people with brown skin can be from anywhere in the world except North America. I will not tolerate this any longer. There was no other divine race at the creation of the Constitution because there were only Indians and white Europeans here to create that Constitution. So if we remained, we are still Indians, but you took that away from us. Why? Because you could. I will not allow any brown politicians to define me as an African. They don't know me or my family, and they don't represent me. With that being said, I will move to the next part of this session to give them an example of why they don't represent me and why it's important that we make a presence and a demonstration in Washington, D.C. again on July 4th, 2024. This is why. From the left, State Senator Stephen Bradford, Secretary of State Shirley Weber, Task Force member Lisa Holder, and Assembly member Reggie Jones Sawyer hold up a final report of the California Task Force to study and develop reparations proposals for African Americans during a hearing in Sacramento, California. Sacramento, California, state lawmakers introduced a slate of reparation bills on Wednesday, including a proposal to restore property taken by race-based cases of eminent domain and a potentially unconstitutional measure to provide state funding for specific groups. The package marks a first in the nation effort to give restitution to Black Americans who have been harmed by centuries of racist policies and practice. California's legislative push is the culmination of years of research and debate, including 111 pages of recommendations issued last year by a task force. I thought I was sharing. I'll have to pull it up. Give me a minute, you guys. Other states like Colorado, New York, and Massachusetts have commissioned reparation studies or task forces. But California is the first to attempt to turn those ideas into law. The 14 measures introduced by the Legislative Black Caucus touch on education, civil rights, and criminal justice, including reviving a years-old effort to redistrict solitary confinement that failed to make it out of the State House and recently last year. Not included in any type of financial compensation. Not included is any type of financial compensation to descendants of Black slaves, a polarizing proposal that received a cool response from many state Democrats, including Governor Gavin Newsom. While many only associate direct cash payments with reparations, the true meaning of the word to repair involves much more. Assembly member Lori Wilson, chair of the caucus, said in a statement, "We need a comprehensive approach to dismantling the legacy of slavery and systemic racism. The package does have a provision that would give some monetary relief. The proposed bill, authored by State Senator Stephen Bradford, a Democrat from Los Angeles area, deals with property takings. It would restore property taken during race-based uses of eminent domain to its original owners or provide another effective remedy where appropriate, such as restitution or compensation. Black lawmakers are already anticipating an uphill battle. They anticipate spending many hours to educate fellow legislators and convince them to pass the bills. Some of the measures could also run into legal trouble. Democratic Assembly member Corey Jackson, who represents a district north of San Diego, is proposing asking voters to change California's constitution to allow the state to fund programs aimed at increasing the life expectancy of improving educational outcomes for, or lifting out of poverty-specific groups based on race, color, ethnicity, national origin, or marginalized genders, sexes, or sexual orientations. That plan could face a similar constitutional challenge, like the one that ultimately dismantled affirmative action. Other proposals include protections of natural and protective hairstyles in all competitive sports, and a formal apology by the governor and legislator for the state's role in human rights violations and crimes against humanity, and African slaves and their descendants. The caucus will flesh out the package in the coming weeks. Now, I say to you that that's a real problem for me. It is not my state. It is not my state. But the fact that they're putting African and African slaves is a problem for me because that's not who I am. That's not who we are. If anybody in this chat room gets stupid, block them out. Block them out. I will, if going forward, I'm just going to ban people from my channel. If you have a problem with this, you need to go in the community where they tolerate being called Africans, who are indeed probably are Africans of African descent or descendants of African descent. I'm charging you to please return to that community and leave us alone. When we stand in July 24th, we are standing on who we are. If this is not your community and you don't like it, I'm asking you humbly to leave my channel. As you can see, I have 940 people watching. You leaving does not in no way bother me at all if you ever come back. So this is what I say when I have a problem and about the politicians. I will not tolerate that. When I know for a fact what happened to my family and the records that we have, the governmental records that we have on our families, never ever defining us as Africans or African Americans or descendants of slaves, but Indians who remained. That's how you know the difference. The Indians that remained. You were either white or you were an Indian that remained in the state that they took over. Smash that like button, y'all. So that's why I have the problem. They don't represent me. That's for California, but I will stand on who I am. I will no longer hold a lie in my heart and not share this with my X generation, no, Y generation child. I will continue to share this and pass this knowledge down and understanding down, as my daughter is a Y generation and she clearly understands who she is, and you should all be doing this. My daughter understands that she is the Indian who remained. And you should be telling your children too, and your grandchildren, that they are the Indians that remained, that Andrew Jackson referred to. There were only whites and Indians. Africans did not own their own farms. Indians did. Africans weren't forced off their lands. Indians were. We were those Indians that remained, that were forced off our land, even if we wanted to remain. We were still forced off. There was no other race here, as noted in your census. There was only blacks, as you named us, Indians, and whites. So, that being said, I'm explaining to many politicians, whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're Asian, whether you're Latino, that this is why we do not stand on black and African American. I will never stand on that identity. It is not who I am. If Africans came truly from Africa and they were freed in 1865, it would have been very easy for us to send them back to Africa, to go home to their people. Obviously, there's a lying problem here. Indians were enslaved on their own lands. And we are those Indians that remain, that you speak about in your Constitution. We are the Americans. We are the true North Americans. That is our ethnicity. We are Americans. There is a difference. There is a difference between Americans and United States citizen. Anyone entering the United States, that's the country. That's a country. It is not America. The United States is a country. Anyone entering the United States is a citizen. There's a difference. United States and America are two separate things. America is the continent. United States is the country that sits on our continent. That needs to be clarified. Not everybody here is an American. Americans are the Aboriginal, the indigenous people to this landmass. That's who an American is. A United States citizen is one who gets citizenship within the United States. There is a difference. This was America before United States country was created on our land. This needs to be clarified in school. America, North America is a continent. United States is a country created that sits on our continent in North America. Those that enter United States are granted citizenship in the United States. Citizens and aboriginals to the soil are two different classifications of people. We are Americans. We are the Americans. We have Americans in North America, South America, and Central America. We are the Americans. United States is a country that sits on our continent. Let me take a break. Because there are so many lies that need to be clarified.
ISO. Dama. Woo! Hey, it's so many lies, so many lies. Hey, it's so many lies, so many lies. Yo, it's so many, hey, it's so many, yo, it's so many, yo, it's so many lies. Look in my eyes, they know I'm the truth. They know that. Knocking them down every time I step in the booth. We ain't gotta lie, they know we the vibe, we living in proof. It's young conscious, shoot my life a movie, I live in a spoof. Ain't no sticking around, I'm on the move, I'm checking the dudes. Yeah, it's only us two, so you know we copping that coupe. We on the roof, smoking dope, look at the view. Yeah, we used to chill on the stoop, now we out here breaking the news. It ain't what you really could do, cause we ain't got nothing to lose. We ain't switch side with no cruise, we just stayed out of the loop. Now we out here letting it loose, every shot we took it was swoosh. Gotta get it, ain't no excuse, ain't left to prove. Hey, yeah, hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Yo, there's so many, hey, there's so many, yo, there's so many.
Yeah, ask them a real question, yeah, I bet it's all lies. Hey, they won't cross that line for a fact that's offsides. Hey, too much penalties when they run this back, yeah, it's fines. Hey, could've been here with us, but we do not force no vibes. Hey, she gon' ride the whip and let me park it in the driveway. They just want the praise like they Yahweh. Getting so much bread, get a ride way. We done already won, yeah, that's worth the ride way. But they still lying right through their teeth, and they still hiding behind many truths. They was D9, watch my every move, tell them keep time. Leave that shit on scene, I ain't replying. Less I know you, that don't mean I'm Hollywood. That just mean I'm Hollywood. All y'all I probably stood on no falls, all cause. More times I probably should. I don't know nobody like us. You see how much time it took.
Yeah, hey, there's so many lies, so many lies, so many lies. Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies, so many, there's so many, hey, there's so many, yo, there's so many.
Hey, there's too many lies. Hey, yeah, ISO, Indies, Dama. ISO, Dama.
There's so many lies, so many lies. Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Yo, there's so many, hey, there's so many, yo, there's so many, yo, there's so many lies. Look in my eyes, they know I'm the truth. Knocking them down every time I step in the booth. We ain't gotta lie, they know we the vibe, we living in proof. Young conscious, shoot my life a movie, I live in a spoof. Ain't no sticking around, I'm on the move, I'm checking the dudes. Yeah, it's only us two, so you know we copping that coupe. We on the roof, smoking dope, look at the view. Yeah, we used to chill on the stoop, now we out here breaking the news. It ain't what you really could do, cause we ain't got nothing to lose. We ain't switch side with no cruise, we just stayed out of the loop. Now we out here letting it loose, every shot we took it was swoosh. Gotta get it, ain't no excuse, ain't left to prove. Hey, yeah, hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Yo, there's so many, hey, there's so many, yo, there's so many.
That's definitely the problem. There are too many lies about our history, and our history has always been forbidden to speak about. Our ancestors went through hell. They were hung if they said they were Indian, all because evil people took our identity that were just a quarter of Indian and took our identity and became the Indian and took it away from us, took it away from our men, our families. That's the cruelest thing the United States have done to our people. Our grandparents were threatened and couldn't speak about it. Our history was the forbidden tongue to speak about. Speak about it and die. Was the choice. Enough is enough. So I want to move it into the last segment. And this is also a learning experience and collective information for Europeans to hear the other side of what we suffer in their corporations, whether we work in state government, whether we work in public corporations, private sector jobs, as a people. We want you to understand. And this is professionally being given to you because so many of our people are afraid or shun away from telling you the real truth about our beings as employees in your businesses, what we suffer today. If we don't act like you, we're not accepted. We must walk your walk and talk your talk. And there are many of our people who are so lost and mastered the art of acting like you, walking like you, talking like you, almost living like you, and totally forgetting who he truly is. Thank you, Chief Curtis. And I want to read this code switching to you and give you the understanding from my perspective to my colleagues, so you can see what we still suffer in your offices. So I'm going to pull it up, you guys. It's taking a little minute. Okay. And I'm going to try and explain it to the best of my ability. Thank you, Chief Curtis. Anyone, please feel free to hit the like button and donate to our cause. I lecture, and it helps WIA. It strengthens WIA. Your donations truly are appreciated. Okay, here we go. First with the black employees are code switching at work, and many believe it would hurt their careers if they stopped. This is what we've been suffering in our hearts, remaining silent in your corporations. Psychological harm. The past few years has been heightened awareness about diversity in the workplace, the importance of valuing cultural differences, and the idea that every employee should be able to bring their whole self to work. But a large percentage of Black employees are still code switching at work, and they say that their careers depend on it. Around 35% of Black workers report code switching in the office, defined by changing language, tone of voice, or physical appearance to fit a dominant work culture, compared to its 12% of their white counterparts, according to a new survey from job search platform Indeed. And nearly 4 out of 10 Black workers say if they stop code switching, their careers would be negatively impacted. A third of Black employees who code switch today say it has a positive impact on their current and future career, and 15% are more likely than workers on average to think code switching is necessary in the workplace. That's a big problem, according to LaFawn Davis, Senior Vice President of Social and Governance at Indeed. Anytime you can't really be your authentic self, anytime you have to really have it in front of your mind, this is who I have to be in this space. That chips away a lot, chips away at confidence, says Davis. Feeling like you belong has scientific and biological impacts. While once a little known idea in mainstream culture, the idea of code switching is now more widely known, along with increased awareness of the burden it puts on people of color in particular. Code switching can be detrimental to workers' emotional and mental well-being, hindering their cognitive performance and leading to burnout. About 1 in 5 Black employees say code switching had a negative impact on their mental health, according to Indeed survey. The Indeed survey also found some seemingly contradictory trends when it comes to employees code switching in the workplace. It found that Black workers at companies with good BIPOC leadership and DEI initiatives were actually more likely to find it necessary to code switch. Davis says that could be due to inclusionary efforts that may sound good on paper, but aren't actually useful to employees. Having DEI initiatives doesn't necessarily mean they're impactful, she says, adding that companies aren't always enacting meaningful inclusion initiatives, and some are just hiring 1 or 2 BIPOC leaders and closing the book on diversity. However, there is a positive correlation between having good BIPOC leadership and Black workers code switching the same amount or less over time in their careers. As a Black senior herself, Davis said it's incumbent on executives and BIPOC leaders to think about the effects of conforming. She has witnessed the impact of her own code switching or lack thereof on her coworkers. I noticed that the more comfortable and authentic that I can be, the more comfortable that they are. Otherwise, they're going to look at me and go, "You're still code switching a lot, a whole lot." I definitely have to code switch a lot. Davis says that while business careers can get behind the idea of inclusion, they have a harder time with the idea of cultivating belonging at work. This isn't a conversation that seems happening for a long time, at least not with this language, she says. To mitigate this issue and encourage employees to be their authentic selves, Davis says that there are several steps that an employer can take. First, they should understand the extent of whether or not their employees feel as if they belong, and then create an environment where people can connect safely. She notes the popularity of safe spaces or brave spaces at work, an environment dedicated to share life experiences, air grievances, and garner a sense of community. By fostering meaningful representation and supporting diverse leaders, workers can also feel empowered to code switch. But most importantly, she encourages practicing inclusive behaviors. Leaders should be curious and confront their discomfort with cultural differences. When BIPOC spaces are open to them, they should join and learn from their coworkers of color despite potentially being the only white person in the room, a feeling that BIPOC workers are all too familiar with. Davis says these shared conversations help build empathy and understanding. When you intentionally invite BIPOC employees into networks and your spaces, you're showcasing behaviors that make people feel more comfortable, Davis says. Understanding people and the stories of people who are different from you is something that is so important for the future success of your workforce. And this story was originally featured on the Fortune. I'm going to put this link in the chat. I just read the entire article, but it's always good to save these things. Ooh, and guess what? It's too much of a link. So I'll upload it on our website. Is included in the slides. So when I upload the slides on the website, you could download it, and the link to this article is there. I thought this was a very important article to share because it oftentimes helps. And I'm being, I'm going to speak specifically. It gives white people an understanding of how we feel in the office as professionals. For 39 years of my life, see, I happen to have the accent of many white Northerners, white Indians, Europeans, because I grew up in this area. Whereas in the South, My cousins, my family, they have deep Southern accents. So we speak differently. I speak more like the Europeans in my area, but I also have my hood side for when I'm home. But I still have the accent of the Northerner where it's very hardcore. Like when you hear, the only examples I could really give is A1 and people like Y2K when they speak, it is that Northern East Coast accent. But the further north you go, the more European you sound. So, with that being said, for so many years of my life, whether I'm in my state employment or whether I was in the private sector, I always felt like I had to speak and act like white people in the workforce. And it made me very uncomfortable. What it does is it gives the your colleague a fake understanding of who you are. And it also affects uh, my colleagues that look like me because they think that I'm trying to be white, which it's a behavior that I had to withhold in order to get the salaries that I got. A lot of my colleagues were in much lower level jobs than myself, and I couldn't be comfortable with them at work because they didn't feel comfortable opening up to me because they felt that I talk too much like white people. I don't talk like Bethy when I'm home. So a lot of our years of our life, we have to put on fake personas and fake behaviors like white people and act like white people. Or my job is literally an acting of who I'm not. But the minute I slip and communicate with people in my community and work, and you see that I can speak with them and dialogue with them as we would do at home, we're judged as professionals. She's been faking. Well, yeah. Hello. Yes, I have been faking. Because if I don't act like this, you're not going to like the way I act. You're going to feel that it's defensive because I'm acting like I would act at home. I'm not allowed to be comfortable with the people from my community at work. We were not allowed to do that, especially in the 80s. We had to fake like we grew up with literally next door to white people, when in fact, I grew up in the hood. But no one knows because you never tell them. So these are things that we suffer in corporate management. Me in my position, I've acted too long and it's burdensome because what it does is creates a type of bipolar disorder. At work, I'm on fake professional ears when I speak. When I'm home, I'm Shakrisha. I much rather be Shakrisha. I know how to talk when I'm Shakrisha. I don't want to be white acting Bethy. And I feel horrible when I have to deal with the people in my community. I got tired of feeling like that after so many years of doing it because it never really was me. I am me, the way I speak now and vibe with my community. I'm in my comfort zone. I could never be in my comfort zone at work all these years. And it took all these years for me to be able to tell you that. It creates a mental health problem. I am tired of feeling like I have to be like white people. I am not a white woman. I am an Indian. And we have our culture. My culture was snatched from me. I had to be like mainstream white society and a government that's supposed to be have an understanding of diversity, but only the diversity when it comes to them, not Indians, or AKA the Indians that remain in the hoods, that are now in the hoods. And it's uncomfortable. But I'm almost at the age, I got quite a few more years till when I can retire. And I know I no longer have to speak like you publicly. More of my people would listen to the news if I'm allowed to speak to them like I speak to them in my hoods, minus the curse words. They would understand me. I wouldn't have to use choice words where they have to figure out what I'm saying. I'm tired. Although there is one person, two people, no, three, maybe four great leaders that actually speak in the manner in which they speak. And that's Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Sister Bethy now, Eric Adams in New York. He literally can reach his audience in the manner that he speaks. But they're all attacking him now at the top of his career. But this is a lot of what my people suffer working in corporate businesses. We have to act like we're white. And I'm not white. I've never been white. And I'm tired of faking it. If you are not comfortable in the manner that I speak to you, then that's a problem you have to deal with. I refuse to spend the rest of my life until I retire acting like white people. But what I can do is act professional, but I will no longer act like white people. You don't pay me enough money to act like white people, but you pay me enough to act professional, and that's all I'm going to do at this point in my career. I have 7 more years before I could retire. I have the years, but I don't have the age. The way I'm speaking right now should be sufficient and comfortable for all my colleagues, whether I'm in working my private sector job or my public service job. My choice is to always be professional and not hurt anyone's feelings. That's my first preference. But I will no longer act white. I'm tired of that. I get more respect when I act like Sister Bethy in public. And the respect that is sentimental to me is the respect from the people in my community, in my tribe. So that being said, I've been yapping for almost 2 hours, which is what I wanted to do. I'll put the link in the chat if anyone has something that they want to speak on about what I lectured on today. I'll put the link in the chat for you to come up and say what you want to say. If not, I'm going to log off and call it a day. And I may be back tomorrow. Hey, girly. Saturday is this Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern is the first day of Creating Your Family Tribe Level 2. Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's on the website, and I show it. If you're on the distribution list, you don't have anything to worry about. You just show up when you receive the link. You will receive the link. So this Saturday, February 3rd, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock Central Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. Those are the times you enter the meeting on Saturday when you receive the Zoom link. That being said, that's all I really have to say for now. I'll play a song for a few minutes. I love you guys. And if no one enters, I'm just going to clock out for the evening. So I'll wait for a little while for you to come up. If there's anything you want to say or you feel like you want to share, there's 1,041 people in here. And if there's anything you want to share with this audience, please step to the panel. The link is in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to go, and I'm sure all these people want to go too. Hey, girly.
Hey, Sister Bethy, how are you?
I'm good, beautiful. What's going on, sis?
I just wanted to thank you for today's lecture and presentation. It was wonderful. I don't know, it kind of put a stamp of approval, kind of sort of on what we've been, um, I guess, beating our heads in about trying to get this point over to people, especially that the Negro is the Indian. And everybody's been, given their 2 cents on the subject. Most of you guys that have platforms on YouTube, and you've been driving the point home more than most. And today it kind of sort of put that official stamp on it because you gave, you sort of rounded it out with your own personal testimony with regards to just how we present to the world and what they see and how they perceive us. And then you said, hey, this goes all the way back to the beginning, to when we were reclassified from what we were to what we are now. And so, yeah, I just wanted, it was great.
Oh, sister, you're so beautiful. Thank you so much. It's nothing. I'll tell you, it's the best feeling in the world is to get that type of feedback from the people in my community because I it lets me know in my heart and I can sleep at night knowing that I reached and touched the hearts of my sisters and brothers. And you just put a stamp on that for me and I love you for that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, everybody, like I said, everybody's kind of been touching on it, and you always do this. You always say, "Hey, I appreciate everybody's input because I do too. I appreciate what everybody sort of donates." But this, I don't know, maybe it resonated with me more on a personal level because I feel like you do when I go to work. I feel like I have to sort of put on this front. And if you don't, then you kind of feel like I'm taken away from all of us, like the representation that you're supposed to have. And you're saying, listen, hey, this goes deeper than even that. So you sort of drove that point home for me, and it's like I don't feel like pretending anymore. I don't feel like being, just like not being myself or having to worry about what somebody's going to say. But it all goes back to how they misclassified us, and it's that identity thing that was taken from us. And yeah, so like I said, you put that, yeah, you got my stamp of approval with it. It was great.
Thank you, sister. And it's something that need to be told. A lot of people in high positions with these high six-digit salaries are too don't have the the gifts to speak it and tell it.
Yeah,
Because
they
a
don't.
little truth be told, there are a lot of my white colleagues that literally make fun of Indians acting like mainstream white society, speaking like them, walking like them, acting like they never could relate to the very people in their community. They are looked down on a lot of my colleagues, my white European colleagues.
Really?
They're like, yes. They're like, where did he come from? Because they're not
Wow.
accustomed to black men in suits speaking like white Europeans. And that's a fact. And we have a lot of men and women that speak in that manner that were born and raised in the South. Okay.
Yeah.
And and to hear them come to work and they're not speaking in their accents. They totally disregard their Southern cultural accents. And I'm like, you couldn't have been raised in Georgia or South Carolina or North Carolina. You're definitely from the North. I would expect that from someone. No, I'm from South Carolina, gal. I'm like, hold up. Just a few minutes ago, you were white chatty patty. And
It's sort of like I can,
yeah,
well,
you know what I mean?
I don't
And
know.
white
Yeah.
people, my colleagues, we have these conversations. And we're like, why is he talking like that? It makes me think he's making fun of us because he talks better than we do. Yeah, I get that a lot from my colleagues. That's
I
X
think in the
generation
North,
speaking.
yeah, I think because I'm Gen X too. I think a lot of us, I don't know, it's kind of maybe half and half. In the South though, we if you are melanated in the workplace, you are expected to behave a certain way, to basically to sort of get along, you're not necessarily as free to be yourself, because the expectation is that you're not going to be. And then now we have people that look like us that are not that aren't American. So, and they sound, their English is very clipped, and then you look at them and you realize they're probably Nigerian, they're probably African, and their vernacular is totally different from their parents, because their parents more than likely have an accent, unless they are
Correct.
second generation. And then at that point, but you're listening to them, and it's almost like they've been, even as children you hear them speaking, they've been trained to, they almost like their accent is flat. You don't know where they are, where they're from in the country. They could be southern, they could be from up north, but it's this very clipped, almost white English essentially. And so we're standing next to them and we're speaking. So then they look at us like, okay, well, where did you come from? Who raised you? Where are you from? Because we're trying to be ourselves. And a few minutes ago that was accepted, but now that you have somebody else standing next to you that looks like you, the expectation becomes different.
Correct. And it's to answer that, to add to that, like I said, my parents, my family, my entire family is from South Carolina, strictly from no other southern state but South Carolina. Some of them moved to North Carolina. My grandmother, I'm just going to mute you a little bit, Kahi, for a minute. My grandmother was raised here in the North. That was back when they were forced, off the land from the South in 1929, because they were burned out the home and they had to flee to the North. So my grandmother came here, her mother and my great grandmother. They all had their heavy Southern South Carolina accents, including my grandmother, who was literally born here in 1931. And it was because she was raised in a household with my great grandmother and great grandmother as a baby. So she came up with her Southern accent. Now you move to the 1940s when my mother's born, total Southern accent is gone. We speak literally like Northerners. So my mom, from 1948 and forward, we have no Southern accents. And that's a fact. The way I speak now is the way my mother speak. My grandmother, she's more Southern accent, and heavily culturally, South Carolina. But my mom in 1948, my sister, myself, all of us going forward, we are now more like the Northern Indians when we speak. Sometimes they say we sound a little bit like Shinnecock Indians in New York because we're so close to New York. Connecticut is literally 30 minutes from New York. We're the outskirts. So we're like in between Boston, where they have the Boston, and New York, where it's heavy.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear it. I didn't hear it before until you pointed it out. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
She does sound like a Northerner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even get that. Yeah, that little twang that we have down here, I don't hear it. Even it's not even like you're trying to hide it. I just
don't have it at
don't.
all.
Yeah, you don't have it at all. I don't hear it at all. But yeah, so I think, and then something else down here that we get in the South is if we get people from the North that come and they're it almost like it accentuates how Southern we sound, and sometimes that's also a problem. But
I don't think it's a problem. I think
I don't
Southern accents are so beautiful and they're so genuine. I love Southern accents. I wish that I was raised in the South. I feel that if I was raised in the South, I would learn more about our culture. Okay. All I ever learned was the culture of the Northern Indians, which are a lot of mulattoes, but they have a lot that look like me that were originally here and that are Indians in the inner cities. But Southern hospitality is what are the morals that I was raised on. So I relate very well with Southern men and women. Like both of my men, the two men in my life, my daughter's father and my husband, are Southern boys. was able to relate to them, relate more with them because of the way I was raised. They had the Southern hospitalities. So, yeah, but also something interesting that I learned, a lot of people that have migrated back to the South that
Mm-hmm.
that are Generation X like me, if they migrated back to the South back in the early 80s, they have straight up Southern accents. It's like the bloodline came back into them and now they literally have Southern accents. Literally.
Well, I have some cousins they were born
Oh,
here
that's
in
Darvis.
Texas and they live in New York, but they were raised there.
Is
But
that you, Darvis?
Please, Queen, it's me.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure I didn't want to get flagged,
hey,
but
Darvis.
go ahead,
Um,
girly, and then I'm gonna ask Kahi to speak after you.
okay. And so yeah, they but they when they come home, um they pick up the southern accent, but it's a underlying northern thing. So that's why I was saying with you, I don't hear any of that underlying southern anything. It's just
Yeah.
straight northern accent. But with them, when they're here, they come back home and they visit. It's like we get it's like, oh yeah, there it is. We and they started laughing because they was like, we only do that when we come here. We, up north, it's like, you cut all that out. He was like, it's almost like you work harder to get rid of it. And I was like, but I think that the women, I think the girls, because they're all guys, I think the girls appreciate. He said, yeah, he said, I can attest that women do like the little southern accent just a little bit. He was like, but as long as it's not country. And so, which I thought was,
Wow.
yeah, which I thought was funny. But yeah,
I
but
love country accents.
and I
I
was like,
do.
wait a minute, what? And they was like, as long as it's not country, he was like, so just that you still New York, but that you got a little bit of that southern in you. They like that. So,
I
but
love Southern accent. I think it's beautiful. It's our culture, and that's how we talk.
I like either
That's the
one of them.
fact.
Like when I hear A1 speak, it's so New Jersey, it's so
That's
northern. It's
very
like
New Jersey.
yeah, it's
Very.
almost like it's intriguing. You want to sit there and listen to what he has to say, just because his accent is almost like a character in a movie. It's almost
You hear Mary J. Blige speak? She is very New Jersey. Whitney Houston, very New Jersey. Oh, you blacked out, girly, girly. You look like your Wi-Fi went out. But anyway, when as soon as girl, let's go to you, Kahi, because girly girls, we can't hear her anymore. Yeah, she fell off. It's probably her Wi-Fi. But Kahi, how are you? What's going on?
I'm
Hey,
great. I'm great.
Fab. So what you got today, Kahi?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, great, great. I'll say peace to the chat, OC to you, and gratitude for everything you're always doing. And you definitely drive the point home, and it should be driven home. I agree with Girly Girl
Hmm.
on all those points. But one thing I want to say is, how are you today?
I'm good. I think after I get off of here, I want to get some good. Oh, good, she's back.
Okay, you want to go
Yeah,
ahead?
girly girl
You
had
go ahead
some
and get
great
back with
points.
me.
yeah.
I'll
Okay.
let you go.
Yeah.
No, no,
No,
no,
no,
no,
no, no.
no. You no, no, no,
I'm
no.
good. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kahi.
Okay, no problem.
Hello,
Um,
Kahi. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. How you feel? I'll see you to
Good,
you.
good.
Good,
OCO.
cool, cool. Okay. But yeah, the points that you made, I was in and out of the chat, a little bit, with some other things I was doing. But as far as the workplace is concerned and how we, tend to switch off and on for the point of the work thing, and I've worked in New Jersey, from New Jersey. I've worked in Connecticut. I lived in Connecticut, in North Carolina, in Georgia, and it's the same
Wow.
all across. Right.
What part of
Yes.
Connecticut?
East Hartford.
Oh my goodness.
East Hartford.
I
That's
raised
what
my
it's all
daughter in East Hartford for
about.
let me see. We were in there for 27 years. I raised
Okay.
her. Yeah, where we're on the Glastonbury line. You know where Hockenham is with a little basketball court.
And yes, I live
Home Depot is all over there.
all the way down. I
Yeah, by Chili's, where Chili's is.
Okay, I wasn't on the Glastonbury side. I was near the Manchester side. I was kind of down,
Yeah,
right
that's
near
much
the.
further. That's further out. But when you get to Glastonbury line, that's where I
Right.
was. 27 years. Yeah, I loved it there.
Well, okay. I was there 15 years. I was like 90,
Wow.
95, from about 95 to 2010.
I bet you probably know my husband Puma, but they called him Ray. But yeah.
Okay, we'll talk again. Yeah, a lot of lessons there, but and that's why I'm saying even up there in Connecticut, the whole time there's a uh people going to work. You're one person when you go to work, and you're one person when you come home.
Yeah.
And a part of that had to be with, if you call yourself trying to, I'm gonna say it like this, my people. First of all, big up to everybody in the chat. I love your chat, and I'm telling you, I love your chat, interacting with your chat. So I definitely
Yeah.
give them big ups. Um,
Yeah.
but even in Connecticut, by the way they are, and there's a lot of New England up in Connecticut.
Yes.
Like you talk about the Northeast and that whole area, there's a lot of it up there, and it's almost like when you're striving to do better, to get higher, to do more, and you're at work, you may get comfortable with some people there and your natural self comes out. But when you're dealing on a more business side of it, you can be yourself, but they look at you weird. Like,
Yeah.
it's a kind of different thing. In New
Yes.
Jersey, it's not so much like that. It's still
Yeah.
because I worked in both and I've been in both, as a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know people don't really want to switch up or change up, but you don't
Yeah.
have to really switch up or change up. But there's an adjustment. And anyone who says it's not, I wouldn't say I disagree with them, but I think there's a work person and there's a home person and
Mm-hmm.
there's a balance. That's all I have to say about that. As for the, I digress for a minute. Anyone wants to, speak on that? If not,
I I'll respond, and you're absolutely right, Kahi. Because if you notice, the the more you go, you're starting to go back south now, where it really isn't so bad, right? Because New
right,
Jersey, that's going south. But we
right,
also have to
right.
keep in mind that, oh, I'm gonna mute you because we're getting a little echo from you, but it's okay. When you're here in the north, like you said, Kahi, New England, we're talking about the colonial states. The majority of the colonial states are here in the north as you go further up. If you really think about it,
Right.
it's it's starting up from Massachusetts, Maine, Massachusetts, all the colonial states, and it's not that many after New York. It's only little specific parts of the South, like Charleston, South Carolina, only, and then you have I guess little pieces North Carolina and Virginia.
Hmm.
Those are considered like the 13 colonies if you really think about it.
Hmm.
So in those colonies, you have the majority of Europeans. So we pretty much conform to their ways, which would be mainstream white society here in the North.
I agree. I
So,
do. Let me tell
so
you something
yeah,
sad I've heard. I'm, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, Sister Betty. But I've been in, I've been in some of these rooms for some years now, also, right? And
in some of these where,
I'm in the chats, in
okay,
the rooms, online.
uh-huh.
And I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean any disrespect to anyone. And anybody can feel free to run up on the panel, call me or email me. But this this um this thing about us up north or in the east, as far as us being viewed as sellouts because we're mostly up there and conforming, that has to stop. I, the reason I say that is because I'm not saying anyone in particular, and I appreciate when I hear other hosts and anyone else who bring that up, to say that, hey, look, we have to, kind of, we have to curb that north and south. I'm not trying to get too far off topic when it comes to North and South. But since we're talking about the differences in the colonializations, the colonies at the time, and
Mhm.
where we stand with moving forward with things. But the reason I bring that up is because we're talking about a North and South kind of topic, right? I
Right.
know we're talking
Right.
about working, but I think everyone has to, like, I was also reading the chat, and I pretty much agree with everyone. Yeah, and I'm looking at Bass Saint and it says everyone assimilated, and that's true. Everyone assimilated in some kind of way. I don't, I can't really sit here and say that, people who assimilated sold out. If you're more connected to your people in the South, the North, the East, or the West, whatever you're doing, it's all love, it's all good, because there's a continuance, a continuity that we have to maintain for now. And I look at my parents and I say to myself, what if they didn't do what they had to do for, there's five of us, my brothers and sisters, for our survival? I wouldn't be here now to
Mm.
help this cause, to help this cause now. So even though I look at them and I say to my mom passed away some years ago, but my dad and my aunts and uncles,
Wow.
and I can't really look at them and say, why didn't you do this? Why could you do that? Why didn't you do this or that? And to have that conversation with, the elders that are I'll say over 70 and 80, they did what they either did what they thought was best or what most people were doing or what they thought was best for their own family. But had they not done some of the things that they did, I can't look back at my dad and be like, oh, why'd you do that? You kind of sold it out. Well, I might not agree with everything he did, and somebody else can look at their own family and make their own judgment. But had it not been some things, and I continued living in North Carolina. I was born in New Jersey, lived in North Carolina. My father was going back and forth, New Jersey and North Carolina, finding a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But had we stayed in North Carolina, I'm not can't really say what things would have happened or how I would have became. So I can't look
Mm-hmm.
at it and say, oh, we should have stayed in the South. We should have stayed in the South. No, he made the best decision for his wife, my mother, and our family. So
Mm-hmm.
that part, when I have conversation with my relatives and friends in North Carolina and in North Carolina and Virginia, and they'll say in joking and just they'll be like, "Ah, you're all cityfied now," and I'm like, "Ah, you're all countryfied." But we say that serious, but we laugh about it because of the
Yeah.
differences in how we became. But as
Yeah.
far as it continuing to be a barrier for us to connect with each other, it should not be. YT is counting on that, counting
You
on
know
it, and
what?
it's not working.
I have to honestly agree with you that that's a topic that should be discussed because I did sort of have a conversation about North and South. But what I
Right.
can say about that conflict between the North and the South stems way back from with Andrew Jackson. That's where
Correct.
that came from.
Okay.
And we need to talk about that. It came from Andrew Jackson because Andrew Jackson was able to get a lot of the Northern Indians further up north, all the way to Canada, to march down with him. And that's where they had the War of 1812. So when
Mhm.
you hear of Northern Indians, they put that on someone like myself that, oh, she's a Northern Indian, a sellout. But
Mhm.
what we have to, before we say that, we have to really think, is she really a Northern Indian? Actually, I'm not. Because
Right.
my family are Indians from the South. We came here at a time where we were ran out from the South. Now,
Correct.
did my family fight on that? Now we have to talk about the Civil War, which was the North, again, the North against the South.
Yes.
When the Civil War took place, my family was in the South in 1776.
Same
You know
here.
what I mean?
Mhm.
And we did have family here in the North and the South, but my family's from the South, so I'm not the sellout because when we fought, my family actually fought on both sides. I
Right.
have family members that fought on the Confederate side which is the South, which would be my family. And then I had family that fought in the South on the Union side, even though they were in the South. And my family in the North fought on the Union side. But me in
Wow.
particular, yeah, me in particular, my dad's family, you know, you got your mom's side and your dad's side. My
Right.
dad was family was a Union soldier from the South, from Florida. So
Mhm.
we need to talk about that so that they understand that not every brown Indian from the North
Right.
was an Andrew Jackson soldier or a Union soldier.
Okay. Right.
So
I'm with
that's
you.
what we need to talk about. But now, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people that look like me and you in the North that are Aboriginal and are Indians of the North here of the
Yes.
North. You got a lot of them that have like no relatives in the South. But I'm not one of those Indians, is what I'm saying, and you're not. And
No.
we need to talk about that because at the end of the day, we're all the same people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that was the really, really great dividing of our people, and they've always been so you know, had great tactics to keep the northern Indians divided from the southern Indians, even though we had the Great Law of Peace. But
Right.
somehow Andrew Jackson and them were able to keep the mulatto Indians against the southern Indians. It was just horrible.
Mhm.
But I love my people no matter whether they're in the South, South America, North. The hell with that. We got to let all that go because it's been too many goddamn years. And
I
at the end
agree.
of the day, we're all losing if we don't reestablish our family tribes. But anyway, Darvis
Absolutely.
came up in here, but it was
Right. I'm
great talking to you, Kahi. That was a great thing to bring up, brother. Hey, Darvis, what
absolutely
you got?
Becky. Appreciate that.
Peace, peace,
Yeah.
peace, Queen. Just stop by, man.
Elvis,
I
what's
heard
up,
you
brother?
live, and I mean, just come swing inside it. You know what I mean? How
Uh-oh.
you doing?
I'm doing great, Darvis.
Cool,
How's it
cool,
been
cool.
for you, bruh?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain. Still on this side of the dirt, so you know.
Well,
Hmm.
I hope you're gonna be able to come to um um DC on July 4th at Powers. Really the head over this, and I'm just assisting him in every way I can.
You know
Yes.
me, man. I'm gonna try my best to support, man, but you know I really don't go nowhere, man.
Why?
I don't know, mom. I'm old and stuck in my ways.
Oh God, you sound like my brother Ty. He in South Carolina. That dude don't go nowhere.
You know what I mean?
And he's from the north. He just won't go. He's 55 years old and just won't go nowhere. My brother go to work and go home. You got to get out. You deserve a day overnight in a hotel. Bring your wife and stay overnight in DC. Go to the protest.
My old
Embrace,
man live in D.C.
huh?
I said my old man live in D.C.
Yeah, why don't you go and stay in that over his house for a night or stay in a hotel and just spend the day down there with the people that we vibe with here in YouTube. I'm praying for that. I don't care how it ends. I'm going. Even if two people show up, me and Big Willie, we still going. Just because I hate to break anything that I plan, and I'm not. I'm going. I don't care.
So let me ask you this: what's the whole protest about?
Well, us going in our attire and getting society to understand that there is a striking difference between black African American. We're not the descendants of Africans. And we are the Indians that remain in our territories rather than going to Oklahoma. And we just need them to understand that. I mean, we're talking about foreigners that came to this country that are identifying us, and it's just wrong. It's just wrong.
I agree with that.
So we're going to make a stand to show that we're still here, we exist. The only reason why that we're not identifying as who we were because of, you know, it stems from such a long held curse. Like if you say you're Indian, you're going to get killed. I mean, that was traumatizing for our ancestors. You know, if you said you were Indian, they hung them in a tree. They did all kinds of things to our people. to the Indians that remained on their lands instead of going to Oklahoma. All right, but you better not say you're Indian. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of mulattoes that had white features wanted to say that they were Indians and they couldn't. They said, no, I know your grandmother, your quadroon or whatever, and you need to go and register with the colored troops. This is them telling white people with white features that wanted to be the Indian who they were. And a prime example of that is this right here. It was horrible. You see these Indians from Oklahoma. Look at the gentleman, the man on in the first row, the third at the bottom. Does he not have white features? Can you see it, babies? Darvis? You guys, can you see the picture? Hello? Your mics are muting if you're talking.
My bad. Yeah, I see him.
I can see
Okay.
it.
So you see the white, the Negro, okay, with more of the European features here, and also in row 2 right behind him. They have more of the European feature. But, honey, the militia told him, oh, hell no. We know who you are. You're not going to pass the white. You go and you register with the colored troops. They didn't give a damn. So they wanted to be Indian and they couldn't. They said, nope, I can't let you register with the white troops, white soldiers. But you have to, if I do, I have to do it for everybody else. You have to go and register with the colored troops. And that was that. So that's why you see them sitting there. So there's a lot about history that we need to make the news media conscientious of. We just because we have brown skin, we're not descendants of Africa, and they're trying to define that. And this is where the line is drawn. All right. These days, you're letting people be who they really are or who they weren't born to be. So now, we really want to come out and take the mask off. We are the Indians that remained. We have no history of slavery. Our parents owned their lands that they were on at a time. We were supposed to be slaves and we were not. So that tells you there who the Indian was that remained on the land. And I'm just not tolerating no more. My grandmother was very clear on who we were. And we know that we didn't come here on slave ships. That's a damn lie. So that's why we're going to DC to make the distinction. Okay, granted, today there are African Americans here. Literally, we know their accents. We see them. But we're not those people. There's a distinguishment, and this is where the line's drawn. Do not call me something I'm not. But anybody got it from here.
Yeah, I'm strongly with that too. Don't be calling me black. Don't be calling me African American.
I agree with that.
Stand on that.
I just feel that we got to make sure we start properly identifying ourselves also, because we stand and try to make these stands and make sure they understand we're not these terms anymore. But then we do our paperwork, our information, our licenses, our identification cards, all say that we got to go back and correct all that. That way it's known.
Facts.
Yes. Well, the best way to declare that, literally, is to declare it with the lawmakers, because these are the people making these laws and making these racial classifications. And the very people that they need to go to are your lawmakers, which are your local state senators, your mayors. Okay, you have your local state legislators, who are your local state representatives and senators. And then you have at the federal level, your congressmen, congresswomen, yeah, in the House and the Senate. They need to be put on notice because they're the lawmakers. And this should raise a flag in their head. Okay, wait. For a very long time, the people in this community have been representative as now in 1988, they became these African Americans, where in fact, in 1835 or 1830, prior to the Indian Removal Act, they were the Indians that remained on their lands. So now, 1988, these same people with these, many racial classifications are now being called African Americans. If there's something wrong, so these senators and these lawmakers know that, hey, you're representing Indians when you go to Congress. You're representing an Indian that remained.
Yes.
So
I agree.
a declaration to them clarifies that. And the A drip and undrip is what protects you.
And
And
I agree.
yeah,
You know, the only
and
issue we have though, man, is so much of our community still don't subscribe to that. So
yeah,
much of our community, especially the ones I mean that been around for a while, they done been, you know, and it's in their head, I'm black, I'm doing. If you say I'm something other than black, it's almost disrespectful to my ancestors who came here on a boat and picked cotton in the south, and or hit the lottery and bought their family or some shit like that there, and came up north and became a success story. They just, you know what I mean?
yes, you're
Yes.
you're right. But a lot of
So when we
people,
stand, so much of our community could be divided just on that because a lot of people got an issue with the term.
right? I get it,
Yeah.
but we're not going to be able to unindoctrinate. We're not going to be able to, Darvis, be able
Yeah.
to unindoctrinate a lot of our people. Some of them are really, really heavily stuck on it and are being influenced by these professors like Jabari, but they're losing at this point because a lot of X generation are really pushing this hard and educating their communities. So I think the biggest thing and the most crucial thing that we need to do, and which is what I wanted when I went down to DC the first time to protest, it wasn't a lot of us, but this time I think it's really going to hit, pin the nail on the donkey's ass, because now they're going to know we really do exist. And this part is so monumental to me. And so it, it's so, it to me, it makes me feel so good because the just the opportunity of having these brothers and sisters that been lecturing us in YouTube, like Empress Holbert, Ab Power, Ab TV, Chief Holiday, Dane Calloway, Top Cats, to have them come to us to DC if it's something they agree to would be mean so much to me. And I think if this time it's gonna happen, I pray that they just say, all right, you know what? Let me go. She's right. I have been teaching her. And I think it would be an honor to show up to the people that I've impacted in YouTube. So I'm just going to keep praying. But like I said, I'm still going to show up because it need to be told. But anyway, we just have to keep working with our people that are indoctrinated. And at some point, just like we all did, Darvis, we stepped out of the indoctrination for a minute and begin to look at real evidence of this. And the best evidence that we can have are the government documents that our families can attest to. I mean, these are official government documents with our ancestors' names on them. And this government has on our family. So we'll keep working, and I'm not gonna stop because that's what I'm here for. That's what Wire Nation is here for. I pledge to continue lecturing on this. And we, believe it or not, Darvis, we're turning a lot of people around. A lot of pastors are strongly considering changing their churches into tribes. Still be a church, but they put on their Indian headdresses. And, a lot of pastors are probably starting to feel comfortable saying, hey, that holy dance you're doing is one of the original dances of our ancestors. And they're starting to get comfortable with it. We getting there. One day you might turn the TV on and see one of these big dome churches. You know how they have these big TDGA churches, and you see them all in Indian headdresses. And you'd be like, what the what? So the ancestors gonna do it. It's just a matter of time. But
Right.
I see that coming. I see Tamala Man, being a woman of Georgia, coming out and singing in an Indian headdress, representing who our ancestors really. I see this coming. The churches still do the holy dances. We just did it to nature when we were doing it. But there's a lot of our culture that the Christian church escapes, and that's one of them. The shouting and Holy Spirit, that's Indian dancing, straight like that. Really. And can't nobody do it like a Georgia. Southern chicks. But brothers, I'm gonna get out of here because I don't know what they're cooking in there, but it's just aroming in my nose and I'm hungry. I want to get out.
Ready.
And I want to come into I thank y'all. I felt honorable that both of you came up to spend time with me today. But I am going to do a redirect to Aboriginal Powers channel. If y'all just hang in here with me for a minute. And I'm going to do a redirect. He's probably going to talk about it too. And hopefully A1 and all of them will step up and start, being some sponsors of this and having a meeting in Zoom, and they could figure out how we want to do it. But let me do this redirect. I should have been set this up. I didn't know his little butt was on. Oh God, this takes a minute to do. I swear. Contact.
Hey, brother Darvis.
I think
Peace, King.
Peace, King. Peace. Again, thanks for having me on, Sister Bethy. Really appreciate that. I don't step on here too much. I'll be listening a lot and don't jump on. I try to get on there more often with you, and we can chat more about connecting.
You're always welcome here. I hope you come. Even you don't even have to do it, but if you feel like you want to show up to the Create Your Family Tribe class, this is the best part. I like the level 2. It's always been the best for me.
Where?
It's going to be in Zoom Saturday at 6, but you have to be on our email distribution list, and you'll get the link.
How do I get there? What you want me to do?
You know how to look in the back chat?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, let me put it back there really quick for you. If you go to our website and just
yeah, I'll look at the back chat. I know how to get there.
All right, there it is. If you go in there and just register, I'll be able to, or here, better yet, here. www. You know what? Do this one.
Okay. Well, if I get on it right now, I don't want it to be any friction, or what do you call it? Double chat as far as being logged into YouTube and be on here at the same time.
Oh no, you just copy it and save it for later and go on it. It's wirednation.com.
Okay, I think I was on there before. All right, I'll find that.
Yeah, I think I'm doing this right. Redirect. Oh, save. Free smoke. Oh, 639. Source up or shut up. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. So you guys, I love you all. I swear I do. You welcomes, girly. Love you so much, beautiful sister. And everybody out there, I hope that I was able to share or enlighten you on a lot of things that go on in our heads, in our community as a people, and when we're amongst you. But to that being said, any closeout statements from you brothers before I hit this redirect button?
Let's keep it connected. My bad, good, Doris.
I just want to say peace to the gods, peace to the goddesses, peace to you, Sister Bethy. I'm out.
Okay.
All right.
Honor to everybody. Love y'all.
Wado, everyone.
So gonna connect directly the next time, right? Next time?
Yeah, you won't. You would have to go to it, but the chat won't.
They're asking for the email in the chat.